Hey there, we're taking a look at Assassin's Creed Brotherhood running on the i5-1135G7. Now this is currently running at 1080p with the lowest possible settings, and the performance is pretty decent. You can get a relatively consistent experience sometimes, but one thing that seems to be consistent throughout the entire experience is that there is a slight stutter, and it seems to happen even at 1080p, even at 720p. You can only alleviate how frequently it happens, but it is still going to happen. At 1080p, and especially at higher settings than this at 1080p, it becomes so frequent that, especially in cutscenes, you really can't play these games for the story. That being said, you can adjust certain things a bit, so my recommended settings are actually this right here. So just turning things just slightly above the lowest settings pretty much provides you the best experience in terms of visuals and in terms of frame rate at 1080p. This is pretty much how I have been playing the game. It is like my preferred way of going about it. The 1% lows are going to be kind of brutal in certain areas, but that just has to do with, you know, the infrequent stutter that ends up happening, especially when things are loading in, and it's going to happen at pretty much any resolution and settings, so might as well get a little bit better visuals. Of course, if you want to maximize the FPS, you can always drop down to 720p at the lowest settings, and you're going to get some pretty great FPS. 1% lows are going to be looking good for most of the gameplay. Of course, you're still going to run into the same stutter and like 1% low issues when it comes to like cutscenes and things like that. But there's no real alleviating that. In terms of gameplay, though, you're going to be able to have a pretty good time. If you're so inclined, you can even turn up the settings to their maximum at 720p and get a very last generation console gaming experience. So overall, not a bad showing for a game like this. Certainly it was not one that I remember most for its single player. I pretty much just remember this for the multiplayer more. Of course, rest in peace to that. But I do have fond memories of this game, and I'm very glad to see that it actually performs so well here on a variety of different settings to suit pretty much any kind of playstyle.